We are back once again, only on it is last call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel. Now, joining me here, this young lady. Well, some people don't even want to face her opponent, Cyborg. She said, "Well, I did it once. Let's redo this whole thing," and she'll be fighting the Bellator featherweight champion on April 23rd, all the way in Hawaii. I give you once again Anger Fist herself. I give you Arlene Blencowe. Arlene, so why?
Thanks for
Most
having me
people, I
on.
mean, Ronda Rousey for years avoided Cyborg like the plague. You were going, yeah, I want to do this the second time around. Why is it? What is it about this the second time that you feel like, okay, I have her. I can beat her this second time?
Yeah, definitely. I'm the number one ranked Bellator featherweight. The only place from here is up, and that's the champion, and that happens to be Chris Cyborg. Yeah, obviously having lost to her in 2020, I've been working hard ever since to get that rematch, and obviously my ultimate goal is to be the Bellator world champion. So, two birds with one stone.
So now you've had a full two fights under Jackson-Winklejohn. You've had now two training camps where you've worked with Holly Holm, where you've worked with Michelle Waters, and all these people who they're excellent strikers. They know how to be very dynamic. Does that help in terms of preparing you for what Cyborg does, which is go different speeds, change attacks, mix her punches and kicks? I mean, is it easier having those fighters in your camp, helping you out with that?
Most definitely. The plan was to do my last fight camp for Cyborg at Jackson-Wink. I flew over here in March of 2020 and just started to get to work because we knew obviously that fight was pending with the announcement was made in January 2020. But thanks to Coivd, that put a halt on that, and I had to fly home. And then we proceeded to do fight camp back at home. And not to fault my camp at all. My coaches back at home, my training partners, we had an awesome camp. But after having spent 6 months here in Albuquerque training at Jackson with the coaches, with my training partners, with the names like you mentioned, I definitely felt like my game has evolved. I can't be in a much better place to fight camp and have a second run at that, the shot at with Chris and go from there.
What's the biggest benefit for Jackson-Winklejohn? Is it the training atmosphere? Is it the coaches? Is it having more fighters around who are higher level? Like, what is it about training with Jackson-Winklejohn you feel just gives you more of a better opportunity rather than training at home?
A lot of different factors. Okay, starting with the coaches themselves, like the amount of knowledge, the amount of experience. Like when you look at the names that have gone through that gym. The people that they've taken to world championship status, that alone. But just the knowledge there, the bonds that I've built with all the coaches, not just with Coach Wink and Coach Jackson, like all the coaches there. Next would obviously be the caliber of training partners that I have. For me, building friendships with people like Holly and Clarissa. And bouncing off them with things that they've experienced in their career has helped me a lot. Along with all the other training partners that I've got there, there's like a lot of up and coming fighters that have yet to cement their name in the MMA world, but they won't be far off it. Like there's people that push me. I'm the number one ranked Bellator fighter in my division, but there's people that are pushing me, and I'm thinking, shit, like these people like are up and coming, and they're gonna make a name for themselves soon too. But and just for me on the personal level, like when I come here to Albuquerque, I am living and breathing fighting. I don't have any other distractions and commitments and things that sort of take me off the fight game. Like I'm here and I'm living and breathing it. I'm training, I'm recovering, I'm eating, I'm sleeping, I'm working with my mental coach. I'm just in the thick of it, and it's what I need. It's like I said, last year's performances both showed that I'm evolving, and it's all leading to this next one, that's for sure.
So how do you get over, I don't want to say the fear, but sort of the intimidation against Cyborg? Because it happens to everybody, and it's not just the power, it's not just that she looks intimidating, it's, as you said, that burst where all of a sudden you just go, oh crap, and you don't realize how fast she is. And we saw that against you, where you're throwing punches, you're trying to do your thing, and all of a sudden it's just you think you have her timing, all of a sudden it's just that burst of energy where she just throws several kicks, punches. You get to what a defensive, then the takedown. All of a sudden it feels like you're getting overwhelmed. How do you avoid that feeling? How do you tell yourself, okay, look, I
Um,
can handle this?
to be fair, I've watched that fight back, and what was going on mentally definitely wasn't what was happening sort of in the cage. Like, I sort of had a game plan that I was sort of working towards and this and that. But yeah, not once was I feeling fear, not from, facing off at the scales, not from when she walked into the cage, not from after the first round when she clearly won the first round. But yeah, so there was, I had done a lot of work with my mental coach, and we continue and have continued to keep on working. Fear definitely isn't one of them. For me, it's, just for me to fight my fight. I know that I bring some just as dangerous tools to the cage as well. And, just me performing at my very best is going to sort of be out getting her to, answer those same sorts of questions that she asks everybody else. So, just like I said, not fears definitely wasn't one of them, because if I feared her, actually I probably would still be fighting her. But yeah, no fear. I'm excited for this one. Definitely not fearing it.
We'll go back to this fight a bit, but take me back to your last two fights. So knockout win over Dana Silva, and now a unanimous decision victory over Pam Bam Sorensen. Both
Yeah.
times, both fighters tried to take you down, couldn't do it. Both times, you were able to dictate the aggression. You were the one who landed the more shots. You even took down Pam, I believe, Dana Silva once. How much pride do you take in the fact that you've become a mixed martial arts fighter? It's no longer, oh, she's a great striker who does MMA, or oh yeah, she's a wonderful boxer who can stop takedowns. You've now become like a MMA fighter. You can do all three phases, whether it's submission wrestling if you need to, striking, wrestling, defense. There isn't that weak spot people can go, oh, we can take advantage of that.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think that there's a lot more that I haven't been able to showcase in my fights yet, which is the exciting thing. But also kicking myself that I probably didn't have become this fighter earlier on in my career. I sort of had that mentality that I thought that I could just get away with being a striker. But, as the sport's evolving, like, you can't be a one-dimensional fighter. You need to be the whole package. And, it's a credit to the coaches and the teams that I'm now involved with, back at home and obviously here in Albuquerque, that we're just constantly growing it. And it's the fun part, like, as Big John McCarthy had said in my last, in the commentary in my last fight, most fighters, as they get older, you see them deteriorating. And but yeah, obviously I'm still improving and still growing, and that's what's exciting for me. Like, I love this sport. I love the fact that every session, especially while I'm here in Albuquerque, I'm learning. I'm constantly taking notes. I'm constantly writing things down, because it's just it's exciting. So for me, it's just about showcasing it. But at least, worst case, I always just go back to my strength, and that's throwing punches, and that's what the crowd always likes to see anyway. So
What do you feel you improved on in the Sorensen fight? Because the Silva fight, you as you saw, you knocked her out. Pam Sorensen, this is somebody who for a long time had been sort of undefeated. She had a nice little win streak. She's a big, featherweight here. Like, what do you feel you improved on going from the Silva fight to the Sorensen fight?
It's hard because the two fights were completely different. So the Diana Silva fight, that was actually a very risky fight for me to take. Massive credit to Diana. Like, she came in and fought Julia Budd, the number one at the time in the division, and had a great fight with her, and then came in and fought me, who was sitting at number two. So that's like, going straight to the top. And I found that she was a good opponent. Light on her toes, and that obviously was quite happy with my striking. My kicking had improved a lot from that, like, rather than just throwing punches. I had a couple of setbacks in the Pam Sorensen fight camp, and for me, I was just really happy to obviously get to the cage and to be able to fight, because I really didn't want to have to pull out of that fight. And that was something that was possibly on, like, actually it was never it was never on my thoughts, but I was probably advised that it was a smarter decision. I was the number one ranked fighter, and I'm risking continuing through the fight when I'm like probably should have pulled out, but I backed myself and I told myself that, yeah, if you're the number one in this division, like you go in there and you can beat these girls. So yeah, for me, I was massive raps to myself, which I don't usually give myself, but that's something I'm working on at the moment. But I did set a goal before that fight to have like 100% takedown defense. I almost had it with Diana, but I had a lapse in concentration for a split second and she took me down and I was a bit annoyed by that. So I was happy that I got that, like I wasn't taken down by Pam, and even in an instance there was a time that I was possibly going to take her down, but decided to conserve a little bit of energy instead. But yeah, I wasn't 100% happy with my performance with Pam, but putting everything into perspective with what had gone on through fight camp and this and that, I mean, to come away with a win, you'd be happy with that.
I know a lot of people have asked the R word, retirement, and I know it's crazy because you're still in your prime here. Is there a part of you, Vo, that looks and goes, I might want to take more time off because your kids are getting older? And I'm guessing, for every parent, I mean, you can handle, a broken cheekbone, sprained, cracked ribs. You'll do like a champ. When I'm missing my daughter's prom, or I'm missing my son's, first soccer game, that probably brings tears to your eyes. You go, oh crap, I'm missing all this here. I want to be there. I want to be there for him. I want to spend time while we're there.
Yeah.
Is there part of you that's like, I want to maybe a year off or 2 years so I can see my daughter, go to prom and then go to college, or my son play, senior year soccer or football and not miss all that because, hey, I'm in New Jersey, Albuquerque, New Mexico training. Is there a part of you that feels like you might want to take time off just so that you don't miss the kids growing up before they become adults?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would spend every second of the day with my kids. I up until last year though, like I had done all my fight camps back home in Australia, and that was probably the reason why too. My daughter now actually goes to university. She doesn't live at home with me, so and then my son, he's getting a little bit older now. So like, yeah, they're at the age now where they understand what I'm doing and what's required for me to get to be where I am in my career. So, back when they were younger, when they were in primary school, and they needed their mum. I mean, I guess all kids need their mum, but they needed me there, for their homework, for the school drop-offs, for the school pickups. I've been there through all of that. So now that they're a little bit older, I've been able to commit. So that's why last year I came over here to Jackson-Wink, and yeah, this last run, like obviously, I missed the world title with Julia Budd, and I've thrown absolutely everything into it since. And I wasn't able to do a camp over here because of COVID with Chris, for the first Chris Cyborg fight. So yeah, these last 2 years, it's just been like, I want to give absolutely everything to it. And the kids get that. Like, I mean, they're both flying over to Hawaii to watch me fight. And, I make up for the, 6 months away from them was not planned last year, and it killed me to be away from them. But, again, I put everything into perspective. Both my kids were at home. My daughter where she lives, and then my son was at home, and they were both healthy and safe. And just with the bigger things that happened in the world, like me being away here in Albuquerque training the whole time, got 2 fights in, banked a heap of money, got home, and yeah, we just picked up where we left off. So technology is a big one. Thank God for technology, and obviously like things like this, Zoom calls and FaceTime, and my kids have grown up around, like, I mean, my son was in nappies when I started fighting, so they've been through it all. My daughter's helped me do weight cuts. They've been at weigh-ins. They've, back on the local scene in Australia. They know it and they get it, and they're both proud of me. And as a family, between my kids and my partner and myself, we all know what needs to be done, and me being here in Albuquerque is what needs to be done.
How much of you fighting in Hawaii is almost like a big birthday party present for you, that the kids can fly over, your partner can fly over. I mean, everybody can spend time with you. I'm guessing you're going to take a couple of days off after the fight and go maybe sightseeing, stay there, enjoy the family while you can. And how much do you enjoy that? Because it's easier rather than them going to Connecticut or them going to, Florida. It's an easier flight from Australia to Hawaii rather than Australia to, New York City. And yeah, that's probably 24-hour flight itself.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes life a lot easier. Gosh, you can't pick a much nicer location to fight. So I'm lucky enough here. Like I said, my partner and my two kids are flying over, and it happens to actually be my daughter's 21st birthday weekend. So she'll legally be allowed to have a cocktail in America. Obviously, the drinking age in Australia is 18. So I've, funny enough, after being away for 6 months, and we went and had like a little family getaway, and we sat there and I had like cocktails with her, and I was like, oh, this it still felt a bit strange, like having drinks with your child. But I'll 100% be having a cocktail on the beach with her to celebrate her 21st birthday. And I'm actually lucky enough to have my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law flying over, like close friends of mine and training partners, and one of my coaches. So yeah, I've got a crew of people to come over and support me, and it's going to be a beautiful location, and I'm just going to get the job done, and then we can celebrate after it.
Last two questions before I let you go. You're a celebrity in Australia. You become the face of women's combat sports over there. And I'm always curious. We in America, almost every athlete, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, they always get involved in the big political thing, whether it's COVID, whether it's the president, whether there's something here. You don't see that in Australia. And you've experienced a lot what's going on with COVID. You experienced a lot of lockdown stuff. I'm guessing you saw friends of yours get hurt, family members because of all this here. Mm-hmm. Why not speak out? Is that something that you're just not comfortable doing, or is that just part of a culture in Australia where athletes are athletes? So you're not, you're not spokesmen, you're not politicians. You don't feel like that's your job to just go on a pulpit and start preaching.
Yeah, no, I've put a few things on my social media and stuff, but to be fair, like I don't follow too much politics. I don't agree with what a lot of the governments are doing. Like I have my opinion on stuff, but it's like talking about religion. You'll get some people that agree with you and some people don't. It's like, I don't really feel like having an argument with people. Like I've got my opinion on it, which is generally pretty much. I was only having this conversation today with one of the coaches at Jackson-Winklejohn. I won't say who, because it just for the most part, everyone in our scene, like the MMA community, we all kind of have the same opinions towards COVID and the government policies and just how they handle the whole situation. Like we're kind of all on the same page with how we think about things. So, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, we are the people, and regardless of what we think or what our opinion is, the governments control everything. So that's my opinion on it.
April 23rd, it's once again Cyborg Blencowe, round 2, a rematch. And as I know, I'm not saying you're afraid, because I don't think you're afraid of anything here. As I said, it's almost frustration or almost sort of overwhelming feelings sometimes. And all of a sudden, we've seen with her in every opponent except for maybe Amanda Nunes. She just gets on that roll. Next thing you know, it's like a freight train. It just comes right at you. And it could be the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. It's just give her a couple seconds, and all of a sudden it's strikes, kicks, takedown, on top, ground and pound. Next thing you know, you're just feeling overwhelmed. Now that you've gone through it, how do you stop that? How do you make sure that she just can't get on that rhythm where she just goes, all right, it's 7 punches of doom, and then ground and pound. Next thing you know, she's holding the belt. Like, what's the plan? How do you plan to basically avoid her getting in a rhythm?
Don't let her get in a rhythm. That's it. You just don't let her get in her rhythm. But we've got a few things, actually more than a few things, but there's a lot of tape, and obviously like our previous fight together and stuff like that too. But obviously she'll be evolving in this and that. But I've just got to fight my fight, and that's probably the biggest thing. Just go in there and not let her fight her fight, and I'll have to fight my fight and get my hand raised.
Short, sweet, to the point. That's why we love her. That's why hopefully she'll be achieving her goal on April 23rd and becoming the new Bellator featherweight champion. Once again, we're proud to have on the show and give you it is Anger Fist herself. I give you Arlene Blencowe. Arlene, before I let you go, so where can fans check you out at? Where is, the Twitter page, Instagram, website, and who are the sponsors going to be for this fight coming up on April 23rd?
Okay, I kind of use Instagram the most out of all the social media platforms, and everything just feeds to that. But yeah, give me a follow on the Aussie Girl Anger Fist. I always try to return most messages. But yeah, sponsors, we've got Muscle Bros here. They'll be my day ones. A supplement company back home in Australia, Class Fencing, Three Kings Finance, Snatched Activewear, Freedom Chef, Compliant Cladding Victoria, Kendra Lust has just come on board. And yeah, obviously still looking for anyone that wants to come on board and be a part of Team Anger Fist. Greatly appreciate it. And obviously already appreciate all the sponsors I have on board now. And yeah, that's it. I'm actually just in the back of my head now quickly thinking, God, I hope I have not forgotten anybody, because that
if you do, it comes with the territory. You know how it is. But ladies and gentlemen, once again,
I swear I should know by now that I need to have a list beside here that I can just rattle off. But no, the main guys, most of those sponsors there have been on board like since pretty much early days now. Muscle Bros, like I said, these guys have been on board. Al from Class Fencing. And these guys are just, hometown businesses, not large companies and this and that. So like for them to, especially these last couple of years with COVID and everything, where their businesses have taken a hit financially, the fact that they still support me, super grateful, because it's literally taking money out of their own pockets. But like I said, anyone that wants to come on board and support me, I'm a great advocate for your business company. But yeah, thank you.
Arlene Blencowe, ladies and gentlemen, once again, she'll be fighting. It's April 23rd, only on Showtime, Bellator 279. It's her Cyborg for the featherweight title. Check your time and local listing details. We come back. Got a lot more going on here. Only on It Is Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol. Only on It Is the Last Call YouTube channel.